Team India scales what is arguably the greatest ever achievement by an Indian sporting team, winning the Thomas Cup. I'm joined by the two legends of Indian sport, the original master, Prakash Padukone, who really paved the way for generations of players, and Pullela Gopichand, himself an All England champion, and of course the chief national coach. Both of you All England champions at different generations. Such a pleasure and privilege to have you on this very special occasion. Prakash Padukone, you first. You were in the team that reached the semi-finals of bronze in 79. 44 years or 43 years later, we won the gold, the Thomas Cup. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that this day could come, that India would be the world champion in badminton one day, sir?
That it so soon. Maybe, I was confident it might happen after 8 to 10 years because I think we were always weak in paired events. And, we were producing, one odd players at a time. So while we won the individual event like the All England or the World Championships, I never thought as a team that we would win, and that too so early. I think full credit to the team. So it definitely not a flash in the pan because they've beaten all the top countries. It's not just one country. Earlier I think we've beaten Malaysia but then lost to Denmark. We've never beaten two countries in the same event. So you could probably say that we were lucky at that time. But there's absolutely no luck involved here. And the way we've beaten convincingly in all the singles, doubles, I think we have truly arrived now. Extremely happy for Indian badminton, and I think it's a red letter day in the history of Indian badminton.
It's a red letter day really for Indian sport. Pullela Gopichand, you were sort of more involved with the team. Many of the players you coach in your academy. This must be a very special moment for you, Gopi.
Of course it is. I think as a badminton player, as a sports person, as an Indian, I think this is huge. I think to have something like a Thomas Cup winning is something enormous for sport itself and badminton in particular. And I echo what Prakash sir has said. I think we all knew in some sense the calculations were there that if we could do this, but actually to have all of them play to their best, to their potential, and to actually pull out those 50-50 matches onto our side consistently over a quarterfinals, semi-finals and a finals, I think this really is like a dream run for the Indian team.
What changed, Gopi? Because, we've had individual greats like you, like Prakash sir, the great Nandu Natekar. We've had individual geniuses in every generation. What has suddenly changed that we've now got all these young men players? Of course, the women are also there, but these three young men and a doubles pairing coming together at one time. What changed?
I think the fact that the depth of the team which the Indian team has, actually not many countries can boast of, and actually to have Laksh playing the first actually means that you have a very strong second singles in Srikanth and a third singles in Pranoy, and I think that makes it very formidable. Many of the times we suffered because we didn't have a strong doubles to back us up, because we were walking into many of those matches 2-0 down with the doubles as a lost tie. But actually here we have a strong doubles pair of Satvik and Chirag. Against anybody in the world, actually they stand a good chance. And that makes it very commendable. And the moment you pull out one of those first men's singles or first men's doubles, you almost look like a solid team which can pull out those matches. And that is what has actually happened. So it's coming together of the players at the right time. It's happened for the first time, and I'm sure it's going to happen more often in the future.
All I can say, Prakash ji, is that, Prakash says that when in 1980 you won All England, we thought that was the Everest in a way that you had scaled. And then you win the Thomas Cup this time. Many are calling it our greatest ever team achievement. just want to understand the academies, the one that you set up when Lakshya Sen came as a young boy, Gopi has set up his academy in Hyderabad. How much of a difference do you think that's made? That this academy culture has enabled not just one or two stars, but so many young players to come together. Is that what has changed Olympic gold quest, the efforts, the sponsorship that's going into sports like badminton and not just cricket?
Yeah, exactly, Rajdeep. I think a combination of factors, like you said, beginning with the setting up of the academy way back in 1994, things were not looking up. Badminton was not, at its best. In fact, in 94, I think our Commonwealth Games team was not cleared because we would not have finished in the top 6. So you can imagine in the Commonwealth Games. So that was when, we set up the academy. Then I don't know how many people remember we had a kind of a fight with the federation. The old guard was thrown out. Then, in fact, Gopi and Aparna were, very young at that time, only 18, 19. They stopped them from playing in competition. We had to form a parallel association. Then we merged. Of course, all that is I think I don't want to touch upon that. But I think that was the beginning. And immediately after that, 98, we did well in the Commonwealth, got medals, where Gopi was the captain. Then 2001, Gopi followed it up with the All England victory. After that, I think we've not looked back. I think there was a gap of about 9 years. After that, I think government has really helped with a lot of funding. According to me, there's always been a lot of talent, but it was not getting the right kind of support at the right time. I firmly believe that the support has to come at the right time. So many talented players earlier would have probably made it, to the same level had they, the same kind of financial support which players have now. There were so many good players earlier also, but they could not make it, because of lack of support. But I think 2010, when we had the Commonwealth Games here, that time the funding went up. And immediately after that, I think we've never looked back after that. Saina came onto the scene. Then the 2012, the Olympic bronze, then Sindhu came on the scene, then Srikanth, then Gopi has been doing an excellent job of, leading the team. So I think academies, have played a major role. I think the difference being that, these academies, being not for profit, have enabled people from middle class and lower middle class to avail of the best, facilities, at almost free of cost, no cost to them. So I think that is the difference between badminton and I think the other sports, like for example, tennis. We've not been doing so well, unfortunately. But I think the major reason is, both my academy, then go many others, some with government support, some with private support, have enabled people from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, who are willing to work hard, put in the kind of effort which is required, to come to move to Bangalore or Hyderabad. And, we've just provided them a platform. Talent was always there. And I think it's the combined effort of everybody, like the OGQ or Go Sport Foundation, corporates now. So I think I'm extremely delighted, the way the game has progressed. And I'm sure, there is no looking back from here. We'll only do better. I only hope, the players, take it in the right sense, does not go to their head. Of course, we have, I think, a lot of talent even down the line. Under 21s, 18s, the game is getting popular. So on the whole, I think Indian badminton is looking up.
Actually, for our viewers, we must know that this is a game which in a way was invented in India, was once called Pune, played by the British in Pune and originally called Pune. So there's a deep Indian connection. But you're right, the academies have made a huge difference. Laksh comes from Almora. You've got Srikanth, who comes, I think, from Guntur. Gopi, you brought him to Hyderabad. Laksh came to Bangalore. But Gopi, this academy culture, waking up all these kids at 4:30, 5:30, presumably that's made a huge difference. I read a piece by you today where you said you barely had 2 Yonex rackets when you went to tournaments at that time. Now, presumably, sponsorship is there, training, coaching is there. How much of a difference has that made, Gopi?
I think overall, the general spirit of sport in the country across sports has actually been very good. I think, as Prakash sir said, I think 2010 Commonwealth Games was the beginning of the kind of support. And 2012 Olympics was also kind of a moment where Indian population generally looked at Olympic sport as something, or an Olympic medal as something achievable. And in general, the number of people playing the sport, the number of kids believing, or the parents believing that their kids can actually take this up as a career actually has grown. And post that, I think the overall sentiment of sport has grown, the confidence um, in the sport has grown, and today we are seeing those results come by.
The reason I'm asking you this, Gopi, and I'll ask this to Prakash sir first, and you can both comment on it, because, we've always been seen as a cricket-obsessed country. An IPL player can pick up 15 crores for an 8-week IPL contract. A badminton player for the longest time would have struggled. I know Sunil Gavaskar's favorite sport outside cricket is badminton, but generally badminton was seen as an amateur sport in this country, Prakash Padukone. Has that all changed, do you think? Do you think when a young Laksh's parents send him from Almora to Bangalore, or when Srikanth comes from Guntur to Hyderabad, do they come with the idea that now we can play this sport professionally? Parents are willing to send their children, make those sacrifices, Prakash Padukone, or do we still remain a cricket-obsessed country?
No, we still remain a cricket-obsessed country, but I think other sports are getting their due. Of course, I don't think we will ever replace any of the sport with cricket, because that's a religion. I think one has to be realistic. So it may not be possible, but I think there is also something to learn from the way BCCI has marketed the sport. I think so. Instead of a lot of people criticize cricket, but I take it positively, the way they have marketed the game. Let's say during Sunil Gavaskar's time, what they were being paid, and how the game has grown now. So who's responsible for that? It's the BCCI who have marketed the sport. So while so I think there is a lesson for all the federations to learn from this. There is scope for marketing. We can do that for badminton also. Leagues, then IPL kind of events on a regular basis. But you need to have people running the sport. So it is definitely possible, and there is a lot of corporate support, there is government support, there is foundation support. The government has also come up with so many, Khelo India schemes. It's not just, at the top level, people are getting support. Even at the bottom level, and not just, couple, it maybe in hundreds, badminton players are getting the, fairly good amount of support. I think that has enabled like I said, people from middle class and lower middle class to to take this up full time. They are not looking at IIMs, IITs, going abroad. They are prepared to devote their full time. And in case they don't succeed, they are happy with getting into a state sector undertaking, public sector undertaking, because their aspirations are not big, and they are willing to to take that risk, and to further their career in badminton. But these people mostly are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities who move to, where the entire ecosystem is built, like Hyderabad or Bangalore. We need to have more such academies, committed people, because there is a lot of talent. We can do a lot more. I think we can probably, be on par with China if we have similar academies, in each of the zones first, starting with, there is so much of talent in the Northeast, in the East, in the North. So all these people now have to move to Bangalore. Possible for everybody to move. So I think it's entirely up to the federation now to, to take advantage of this, situation, and, take the game forward.
What was the turning point, though? As Prakash is saying, there's been this huge turning point. But yesterday's match, what was the turning point, Pullela, when you thought that we were going to win this? Because I was watching it right through. Laksh comes back from one game down. The doubles team comes back from 4 match points down. And even in the second game, Srikanth had a game point against him. What was for you the turning point? When did you believe that we were going to win yesterday?
I think Yesterday's match clearly was, if you actually start to put pressure on, then I was almost certain that the Indonesian team would crack. And the moment Laksh started to fight back and not give up, and he covered that deficit in the third game, I think things started to change. And the moment you had 1-0 up, I think you are in with a big chance. And momentum in a big tie like this helps. And that, I think, was for me the turning point. Of course, we fought really hard. We were brave. We were lucky. We can say all this, but I think at the end of the day, the spirit to keep fighting and to keep the belief on that we're going to win somehow or the other, I think that is what helped in each of those matches, because there were times when they could have won those matches, but they lost those points, and then they came back again strongly without remembering those points which they have missed, and came back to fight again. I think that is something which I saw in the last few matches, which has been very heartening.
And you've called it the real World Cup. What do you mean by that, Gopi? Where, you seem to suggest that this is the real World Cup. Forget about 83, 2011 winning cricket World Cups. By 2011, we were already the number one cricket team. Yes, 83 was a big upset. I'm likening it to three events: 1975 Hockey World Cup, 83 Cricket World Cup, and now Thomas Cup. But you called it the real World Cup. What do you mean by the real World Cup, Gopi?
I think I'll let people imagine it. But for me, I think this stuff is real. I'm not suggesting that the others aren't, but I think this for me is in a football sense, winning the football World Cup. I think this is as big as it gets. And I could be biased towards badminton, but so be it. For me, this is like winning the football World Cup.
And you think, Gopi, this will encourage children across the country, not just in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, but across the country to now gravitate towards badminton? Are you seeing more and more kids who want to play badminton before any other sport?
I think definitely today, as the number of courts across the country have grown up hugely, the number of players playing the sport. I think just a reference, Rajdeep, we actually have in each of our domestic tournaments at 13, 15, 17 levels, we almost have 2 to 3,000 entries at the domestic tournament level. And this numbers used to be in two digits till a few years back. And I think that number growing is a huge, and not only that, when I was playing, maybe there were 30 or 50 odd people in the country who play decent badminton. But today you go to an under 13 event and you'll be surprised at the level which the kids play. So the talent is huge, the talent is deep and wide, and I think it's only up to us how well we can harness it.
Prakash Padukone, you were all, today's Indians know you as Deepika's father. My generation knows you as the one and only Prakash Padukone. How would you like to be seen after today's Thomas Cup victory as someone who handed over the baton to the next generation? How would Prakash Padukone like to see this victory in the context of all that you achieved when you were playing the game?
Maybe the journey which I started probably has ended here. No, I don't want it to end here, but culminated in this in this victory. I think 1980, was of course an individual achievement, but in terms of team, in teams team sport, it couldn't have got bigger than this. Like we said, we've always had individual players. Right from the 60s, just one player doing well at a time. Then it was two players. Then, maybe it was three singles players, or three or four or five, six good singles players, but weak in doubles. So I think it's been a gradual process. So which goes to show that, again, I would like to emphasize that, there is a lot of talent, like Gopi said, the number of players, if we used to conduct all the 13, 15, 17, 19, events together, in one place. But now if we do that, I think to combine total, it won't be an exaggeration. It will be about 10,000 entries. if we were to do 13, 15, 17, 19 events together, both
Wow.
boys and girls together. So no way we can, conduct. So it has
Wow.
to be split. The under 13 they do separately, 15 and 17 they do separately, under 19 they do separately. So this goes to show the popularity of the sport. And when the numbers increase at the bottom of the pyramid, there's bound to be more competition and better results at the top. So I think that is what has happened. So I think we are on the right track. I don't there won't be any looking back, even if somebody wants to, but because I think we are on the right track. And I think yesterday's victory only adds to we are going in the right direction. And definitely I think one of the most important days in the history of Indian badminton.
You're being very modest about your achievements, and both of you have always been very modest. What is it about badminton and Indians? We have all the skill sets, that perhaps you require for badminton much more than perhaps in tennis, which requires more power and aggression at times. But is there something that makes badminton players more modest and people who can give back so much to the game, like both Prakash and Gopichand have? Prakash ji, is there something that makes badminton players so modest, or is it simply the weather in Bangalore and Hyderabad that makes both of you such modest people, despite all your remarkable achievements?
No, not really. I think generally people from the south are, more modest. Nothing to take away from people from elsewhere. But I don't think we make an effort, to be modest. It just comes naturally to us. But I think Rajdeep,
because I've been.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I've been reading the comments of Srikanth and Pranoy and all the players after the match. They seem so elated about the idea of a team winning, and that's my final question, Gopi. Is that the big change, that this is about a team? At the end of the day, to get players together to win a team event suggests how much the sport is an individual sport, but the glory is when you win for your nation. The tricolor, standing so high, the national anthem being played, Gopi, that perhaps makes this even more special, isn't it?
Yes. I think definitely there's nothing better. Years from now, even for me personally, I think the All England might be on paper the biggest victory I've had. But in terms of personal satisfaction, the medal of the Commonwealth Games in '98, I think that team medal actually gives me more satisfaction. Or the Thomas Cup, where we qualified to the finals, that gives me. So team medals give you more happiness and satisfaction. And today, what Srikanth, Pranoy, Chirag, and Satvik, they've actually been regulars on the team for a while, and they've actually starting to take other people along, and that's great to see. And actually, each of them, they were all here, and literally, they were announcing that we are going to come back with a medal, and it's like unbelievable the kind of spirit which they have gone with. And I think that's something amazing to see. But also when they were glitches in the team during the event also, I think somebody like a Srikanth just took the lead, I think, which was very good. And also very, very good support from the support team and coaches present there. And also in general, as Prakash sir said, the general atmosphere for badminton is very positive. We have a federation backed by Hemanta sir, which is very positive, which the players feel good about. The government has been super supportive. So there's this positive vibe which is there, which actually has made this whole thing possible.
So I'll ask you both in conclusion, how did you celebrate? Both of you are teetotalers, presumably. Gopi, how did you celebrate first?
I think we've actually, with the family at the academy, every batch had a separate celebration by itself. And I think we continued to celebrate. Yesterday was very busy with the talking to the people. But I think these celebrations will go on for a while.
So when the players come back, will you then, there'll be another celebration, is it, Gopi?
Once the team is back, we're definitely going to celebrate.
Great. So how do badminton players celebrate, Gopi? Cricketers pop champagne. You know, when Kapil Dev won the 83 World Cup, he says he went and took a whole basket of he took the entire champagne bottles from the West Indies dressing room and they popped bottles of champagne. How do badminton players celebrate, Gopi?
I think many of them, it seems like, love to dance as well. But Indian food seems to be the trick for many of them. Unfortunately, that's where much of it ends also.
Rajdeep, they celebrate by having
And
fresh.
Prakash sir, you want to tell me how you celebrated?
Well, I think we had a very quiet dinner. I had a very quiet dinner with my wife. We went to a golf club and had dinner. No celebration, and no, we've not gone out anywhere. But I think we were glued to the TV. Right from I got ready half an hour earlier. Of late I've not been following every tournament, but this one I was really looking forward. Got ready, and I think I've not done that for maybe almost 10 years now. But I think it was worth. And so once the matches got over, we just went and had a quiet dinner, a family dinner.
No, I was wondering, Prakash, Prakash sir, that maybe you would also pop a bottle of champagne at home.
No, I also don't drink. I had normally I have one fresh lime soda. Yesterday I had two, so that is celebration for me.
Two fresh lime sodas for one. Gopi, you're a very strict disciplinarian. I think when Sindhu won her Olympic medal, you allowed her some ice cream only after she had won the medal. So are you going to sort of allow the Shrikants and the Satviks to sort of indulge themselves or not?
I think Satvik will love his biryani. I think that's where he is. Shrikant will love his potatoes and the fried eggs and chicken at the academy. So they've got all their favorites, foods, so much. But I think what they've done, I know really truly deserves celebration. The one unfortunate reality of badminton is that they actually start off tomorrow with another tournament in Thailand, and they have to prepare and get back and play that. So it actually, I wish we had a 15-day break where we could actually roam around the country, celebrate in each part, and actually do the things which they really wanted to. But I think they have too many tournaments and too many things to do. So it will be small celebrations and preparations again.
And I hope one day when they all come back, they're taken in a motorcade, given a true celebration. 1 crore promised by the BAI and the government. Hope more sponsorships come. Gopi, do you think the young players, therefore, will, after what happened yesterday, be even more aggressive, more intent on winning these big events? Do you think like 83 was the turning point for cricket? You think yesterday will be a turning point for badminton and all Olympic sports, Gopi, that there will be a sense that now we can do it? Yes, Indians can do it.
I think definitely what we have seen today, yesterday, is really a transformation of individuals playing to actually believing and delivering. I think at the biggest stage, this is possible, is what the badminton team has shown. And the kind of transformation which they have happened, because maybe 3 or 4 years back, if you go to Indonesia or Malaysia or China and tell that India is going to win the Thomas Cup in 2022, I think people would laugh at you. I think that is something, that transformation is something which this team has shown. And I think that belief will not only change or inspire more and more badminton players, but I guess more and more sports in our country as well.
I want to tell both of you that both of you, in a sense, represent the best of Indian sport. You have been great ambassadors to the sport, not only with your individual achievements on the court, but what you've done with your academies, the Padukone Academy in Bangalore, the Gopichand Academy in Hyderabad, you have transformed the sport, given back even more than perhaps what the sport gave you. And for that alone, Gopichand and Prakash Padukone, this nation owes you a huge debt. I can tell you I was emotional yesterday. I was in tears when the tricolour went up, and so were millions of Indians. So thank you, Pullela Gopichand, and thank you, Prakash Padukone, for all that you've done for Indian sport and Indian badminton. You've made us very proud, as has this great Indian team. So thank you, and maybe next time, instead of fresh lime soda, you can try something stronger.
Sure, Rajdeep. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
Prakash sir will say an extra lime.
Thank you, Pullela. You can also have a little bit of extra lime. Yeah, you can put a little bit of extra lime. Thank you both very much for joining me on this very special show. Thanks for watching.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.